Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Right now at 10, a Connecticut city honors the firefighters who saved a teen's life. We'll hear from them as Meriden holds a special celebration tonight.
Also, domestic violence advocates in our state are concerned tonight about a Supreme Court ruling, why they say it could be easier for abusers to get guns.
And a Connecticut mother murdered, a child still missing. A deeper look into the search for baby Vanessa Morales 3 years later. We begin at 10 with a story of gratitude tonight. A Meriden family reunited with the people who saved their lives after a house fire. Good evening, I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Brent Harden. Thanks for joining us. It's a follow-up from a story we brought you last month. Meriden firefighters and some of the family's neighbors were honored at tonight's City Council meeting. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner was there, and she joins us live with what they all had to say at this happy reunion. DeAndrea.
Well, it indeed was a happy reunion, and these were just good Samaritans. One was actually across the street at a car wash when he saw it happen, and the other two were plumbers on their way to another job. And at this city council meeting, them, along with other firefighters, they were honored with awards by the city council and by state senators.
I just saw him on the Blink camera. 45 seconds of Bill, Dylan, and Jim getting my family out that house.
45 seconds felt like a lifetime for Shaniqua Brown, who watched her home on North Broad Street go up in flames while she was on vacation.
I cried on the floor, and I stopped crying when I saw my daughter run out. At the end of the 45 seconds, I stopped crying.
Fortunately, her family inside got out safely, thanks in part to 3 strangers who say they were just doing a good deed.
These gentlemen came behind me with a pipe wrench and actually broke the screen door. And when the screen door opened, the family kind of came around the corner, and they were petrified. They thought we were actually trying to break in the house.
Because nothing in the house, no smoke, anything.
Soon, they say, the home started billowing with smoke as one man tried to go upstairs to save 17-year-old Mekhi McLean, who was on the 3rd floor.
Almost like a train. The train you see like in a cartoon chugging the smoke off the top. That's how much smoke was getting pumped up to the 2nd floor. So it was a pretty hectic and scary situation for sure.
McLean was eventually saved by firefighters. For days, he remained in critical but stable condition in the hospital. But 10 days after he nearly lost his life, he returned to school.
My last vision of him wasn't terrific, so to be able to see him reacting and not talking quite yet, but reacting to us was great. It was a good feeling.
This day, a complete 180 from that January night.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And one they won't forget.
I remember you all day.
Well, you guys, it was truly momentous and happy, and along with getting the Spirit of Meriden Award, there were other kind gestures, just you won't believe it. They named the next 3 days in honor of the 3 Good Samaritans. Tomorrow will be Bill Lombardi Day, February 8th will be Dylan Saradeth Day, and February 9th will be James Sadlowski Day. Imagine that, just one good deed, and now they have days named after them. What an honor. For now in Meriden, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61 News.
All right, DeAndrea, thank you. They did a good deed. They deserve it. Did a good thing. All right, another Connecticut community is coming together after a barn fire killed 60 animals in Prospect, and they were part of Kelly's Kids, which is a group providing animal therapy for children since 2014. A GoFundMe for Kelly's Kids has nearly raised $100,000 since Friday night's fire.
It means a lot. Yeah, it does. You know, I mean, this world is nuts at this point. I think everybody says the same thing, and there's good people left, you know, there really are.
Now, Kelly Cronin also says Lowe's Home Improvement and an owner of a lumber company have reached out to help rebuild the barn.
Well, the weather pendulum has swung again. We've now recovered from the frigid temperatures that we saw this weekend, and we are now trending in the warmer direction.
It's going to be golfing weather before long, and you guys are both going to lose your husbands to it. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for a look at the forecast.
Oh, you know too much about me and my family, for sure. Yeah, we're talking about 50s, even highs close to 60 for later this week. So instead of record cold, we could be looking at record warmth before the week is through. But today was really warm as well. High temperatures in the low to mid 50s. It will turn a little bit cooler tonight and tomorrow, although nothing near what we dealt with over the weekend. Temperatures right now are in the 30s for most of the state, upper 20s though in Torrington. There is a big offshore storm. That's what ended up driving that wind today, that northerly wind that was persistent and will help to drop the temperatures. As we head through the overnight, we'll see temperatures dropping back through the 20s, and that's where we start tomorrow morning with plenty of sunshine. So sunshine mixing with clouds as we head through the afternoon. We'll see high temperatures climbing into the low to mid 40s, and there is a rising chance for showers as we head towards the end of the day after 8 o'clock especially, and some of that could begin as a brief wintry mix before transitioning over to rain, especially in the higher elevations. Shouldn't amount to a whole lot, but we'll talk about it. It could result in a couple slippery spots. We're also timing out some more rain in your forecast, and of course that warmth to finish the work week. That's all coming up.
Rachel, thank you. We are following breaking news tonight out of Peru, where dozens of people are dead after several mudslides.
Yeah, they happened in the southern part of the country. Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez joins us in the Breaking News Center with what we've learned tonight. Sarah.
Well, Brent and Jen, authorities in Peru say at least 36 people have died in these landslides. They were triggered by heavy rain over the last week. 5 of the deceased are people who were riding in a van that was pushed into a river by a surge of mud. Peruvian civil defense officials say at least 630 homes have been destroyed. The mudslides also hit bridges and irrigation canals. Constant rains are common in Peru in February, and unfortunately, they can cause these deadly landslides like we're seeing tonight. Just 2 months ago, anti-government protests left dozens dead after the removal of Peru's former president, Pedro Castillo, so quite a turbulent time for the nation. In the Breaking News Center, I'm Sarah Sanchez. Brent?
All right, Sarah, thank you. Well, new at 10 tonight, New Haven is sending out a warning tonight as the Elm City sees a spike in deadly overdoses. The city's public health department tweeted about an increase in deaths over the past 2 weeks. Yale University's Office of Public Health is working with the city to give students information and training on how to respond to opioid overdoses. New Haven Public Health also allows you to bring any substance in for testing at its office on Congress Avenue, no questions asked. You can do that Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 3:30.
Well, new at 10, a Bridgeport gang member has been sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. 23-year-old Jamar Traylor pleaded guilty to a conspiracy charge related to his participation in a street gang called the Original North End, or O1E. He's accused of taking part in several crimes, including a deadly shooting back in August of 2018. Traylor has been detained since he was arrested in June of 2021.
Also new at 10 tonight, a Long Island man is accused of stealing about $17,000 from an ATM in Windsor Locks. Police say a victim reported someone had withdrawn 11 different times from her account at the 360 Federal Credit Union on El Grasso Turnpike. One of the suspects, 27-year-old Edwin Vasquez of Roosevelt, New York, was extradited to Windsor Locks on Saturday. He faces 2 charges and is being held on $75,000 bond.
Well, 2 New Britain families are without homes tonight after their house caught fire. New Britain firefighters were called to the home on Lyle Road this afternoon. No injuries were reported, but the house has extensive damage, we're told. The Red Cross says it's helping out 4 adults there. The cause of the fire still under investigation tonight.
And a University of Hartford student faces a felony charge tonight, accused of posting online threats about a shootout. 18-year-old Tenem Iqbal was arrested last night after making threatening comments on the social media app Yik Yak. The UHart freshman was arraigned in court today on a first-degree threatening charge, but he and his lawyer say the comments were just a joke that got out of hand.
He's just a normal 18-year-old young man. He's living on his own, probably for the first time in his life, and sometimes we make mistakes. He has no intention of hurting anybody.
There was some joking nature involved. However, we're going to treat him all the same. It's not going to be tolerated.
Now, police found no weapons on Iqbal or in his room. He's being held on $150,000 bond, and the university says he is banned from campus pending the criminal proceedings.
A Granby Memorial Middle School student brought a knife to school this morning. Police say no students were in danger, and they don't believe the student had any bad intentions. This is after a very similar incident just last week when police also said a student brought a knife to the school. The superintendent is holding a community conversation next Wednesday at 9 a.m. for parents with school safety concerns.
And this morning in East Hartford, police responded to Connecticut River Academy after a direct threat was found on a wall there. The school was quickly put into lockdown and officers were called. Police investigated and said classes could resume. No arrests have been made and the incident is still under investigation.
Attorney General William Tong led a rally this morning with domestic violence survivor advocates protesting a federal court decision they say will put victims in danger. Federal judges ruled last week the government cannot stop people with domestic restraining orders from owning guns. Advocates argue this endangers the lives of domestic violence victims.
We don't need any more of a reminder of how important laws protecting victims of domestic violence are and how important it is to take guns out of the hands of domestic abusers.
Attorney General William Tong cited the death of Tracy Jones in Bethel last week. She was killed in a murder-suicide by her husband, Lester Jones. Tracy Jones obtained a restraining order and had reported her husband was threatening her life on a daily basis.